I'm joined by Stephen Simon. He is a senior research analyst at the Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Wonderful. Now, you know, it really is hard to imagine that it's been 10 years of fighting, but President Bashar al-Assad remains firmly in power. How is that?
Well, the civil war in most ways is over. Civil wars typically last around 7 years historically, and they end more often with the victory of the government than of the rebels. So the way in which things have worked out in Syria is not all that unexpected. Many people anticipated exactly this scenario many years ago. So no big surprise. It's also no big surprise that foreign countries seek advantage in Syria because there are anarchic conditions. Different countries perceive to have different interests in Syria, and they have the opportunity to pursue them, and so they do. Hence the Turkish land grab in Syria, northern Syria, and especially northwestern Syria, where Turkish currency is used, Turkish troops are deployed. I mean, in effect, the border has moved southward, and Turkey is bigger than it was. Turkey's objective is to keep Syrian refugees, to the extent possible, out of Turkey, and holding that territory is important. They also want to, if they can, humble the Syrian Kurds, and that's another strong motivation for Turkey being involved. The United States is involved because, well, it's fighting ISIS, it's fighting jihadists. So they see, so the U.S. sees an advantage in having troops there. None of this is entirely surprising, and I'm not trying to minimize the tragedy of it all, because in addition to maintaining troops, for example, in Syria, the United States has also imposed very serious sanctions against Syria, which prevent third parties from entering Syria in order to pursue reconstruction and stabilization activities. This has had the effect of making Syrians who live in government-held territory hostages to Assad's departure, and there's no evidence that Bashar al-Assad, the ruler of Syria, is going to depart. So the people of Syria continue to take quite a serious beating.
All right, you talk about the people, and they really are caught in the middle of all this fighting. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of lives lost, half of the pre-war population displaced. What is this humanitarian situation today?
Well, the humanitarian situation is terrible. I mean, much of the energy grid has been destroyed. The extent to which schools have not been destroyed, well, you know, they're now being used as shelters and as hospitals. The medical assistance and healthcare delivery system has been largely destroyed. It's very difficult to get clean water because infrastructure to deliver water and sewage infrastructure to ensure sanitation has all been very severely damaged. Housing has been wrecked. I mean, people don't have a place to live. The roads are in bad shape, and just the extent of rubble in areas where combat has taken place prevents normal activity from being carried out because, well, you can't go from place to place because of the rubble, and there's always you know, the risk of military action. It's you know, the civil war is over, but there's still some shooting going on. The Israelis you know, are waging a war against the Iranian presence in Syria, and that entails military attacks as well. So you have millions of internally displaced people, millions of people who've been forced into migration. They're not in Syria anymore, and it's not clear if and when they will ever get back. And you have the remainder of the population living in, you know, severely difficult conditions.
A devastating crisis indeed. Stephen Simon, thank you for your time.